Students, today I am going to explain about SIC architecture. SIC is a simplified instructional computer. In this we are having two versions, standard version and extended version. Now we are going to see the architecture of standard version. In this we are going to explain what is the memory capacity, registers, data formats, instruction formats, addressing mode, instruction set, input output operations. After that we are going to see some of the programming examples of SIC. First we will see what is the memory capacity of SIC. SIC memory consists of 8-bit bytes. Any 3 consecutive bytes form a single word. In order to store a single word, we need 24 bits or 3 bytes. So 3 consecutive bytes it will form a single word. There is a 32,768 bytes in the computer memory. That is 2 power 15 bytes in computer memory. So the memory capacity is 2 power 15 bytes. Next we will see registers in SIC. In SIC there are 5 registers with size 24 bits. Because in order to store a single word itself, we need a 3 consecutive bytes. So the registers also, each register size also 3 bytes. So there are 5 registers. Each register we should know what is the mnemonic code used for that register and number used and what is the purpose. So for first register is accumulator. Accumulator the letter used is A and number is 0, and already we know accumulator is used for arithmetic operations. Next is index register. We know that it is used for addressing. The mnemonic code used is X and number is 1. Next is linkage register. From the name itself it is the linkage register. It is used to link the subroutine and main program. So it is used in the jump subroutine instruction. For that the mnemonic code used is L and number used is 2. And next is program counter. We all know program counter contains the address of the next instruction to be executed. Then the mnemonic code used for that is PZ and number is 8. Last register used here is status word SW, mnemonic code, and number is 9, and the purpose is it contains a conditional code, like variety of information will be there in a status word. It's like a flag register in other microprocessors etc. Next we will see data formats of SIC. We know that we are having primarily integer data, character data and floating point data. We will see one by one what is the data format is used. If we take integer data means integer, not to store the integer data, 24-bit binary representation is used. And for character data we know in general 8-bit ASCII representation is used for character data. ASCII we know it's the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And there is no floating point hardware in standard version of SIC. And if you take integer number, there may be a negative integer number also. So in order to represent the negative numbers, 2's complement representation is used. Next we are having instruction format. So in this we are having that only one instruction format with 24 bits. In that the first 8 bits are used to represent the opcode. Next 1 bit represent the addressing mode X and remaining 15 bits are used to represent the address. Next we are having addressing modes. So in the instruction format we told that X bit represent the addressing mode. If X is equal to 0 means that indicates the direct addressing mode. Direct addressing mode means target address equal to what is the actual address. And X is equal to 1 means that indicates indexed addressing mode. Target address equal to address plus index register content, that is X. So in SIC architecture we are having two addressing modes, direct addressing mode and indexed addressing mode. Next we are having instruction set. In SIC, we are having different types of instructions, that is load and store instructions. We know that load accumulator, load index register, store accumulator, store index register, etc. Then there is a arithmetic operation instructions, that is add, sub, multiplication, division. But these instructions used to perform only integer arithmetic operations. Then compare instruction is to compare the values. And conditional jump instructions, jump on less than JLT, jump on equal JEQ, jump on greater than, jump on not equal to, and so on. And then subroutine linkage instructions, jump subroutine and return subroutine. Next we are having input output operations. Input output operations are performed by transferring one byte at a time to or from the rightmost 8 bits of register A. Either will transfer the 8 bit of data from input device to the rightmost 8 bits of accumulator, or will transfer the data from the rightmost 8 bit of accumulator to the output device. So for that we are having the four instructions: test device instruction TD, and read data, write data. So the test device is used to test the device, the input device or output device, whether it is ready to read or write the data. Once it is ready, then based on that thing, it is input device means that write operation should be happen, output device, read operation should be happen, and output device means write data operation should be happen. So if it is architecture of SIC, means you should explain these 7 features one by one. Now we'll see some of the programming examples of SIC. So first, for example, we want to load and store the one character and on the integer data, means we can give like this LDA 5. We can make it like that only because there is no constant immediate addressing mode in SIC. So LDA 5, that 5 should be defined over here. 5 is a word. The value 5 it is going to take, it's a constant, one word constant. Store ALPHA means so that store, not to store that one integer data, it has to reserve 1 byte of memory. So alpha reserve word 1. Then LDCH character jet means load character jet into register A. Register A we know it is a 24 bits. In that only the rightmost 8 bit is used to store a 8 bits of value of the character jet. Then next, that not to store that value character variable C1 means, so C1 we have to define, that's a memory, we have to reserve 1 byte because characters we need 1 byte. So like that we have some of the programming examples. Please go through that. So that's all about SIC architecture. The next class we are going to see the SIC XC architecture. Before seeing that SIC XC architecture, you should be thorough in the SIC architecture. I am going to compare SIC and SIC XC architecture. I am going to explain that. Thank you.